Hi, I'm Carla.
And I'm Michael.
And we're Go Postal Podcast.
The podcast where we read your drunken ramblings, postcards, emails, whatever you can think of, really.
And how do you get these sent to us? You can send it to P.O. Box 198514 in Nashville, Tennessee 37219 or gopostalpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook.
You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher. We release an episode every Monday. Auf Wiedersehen!
Ciao!
Thank you for letting us in.
I was burying bodies out in the desert.
Neighbors claimed they practice witchcraft.
Quiet. Everything will be fine.
Hello.
Goodbye.
No, don't say goodbye. You're supposed to welcome them. As the witch mother, you welcome them.
I welcome them. I just bring them in to my loving arms. And
Right
I place
into
them
your-
to my bosom.
Your bosom.
And I have them tell me their sorrows and their fears.
Yep. And
And then I consume them. No, I'm kidding.
and then consume their fears and
Yes.
yeah, consume their
Sin eater,
fears.
the fear eater. I like it. I'm
Did
into
you
that.
do something on that? Not a fear eater.
Yeah.
It was a what was that?
Sin eater.
Sin eater.
Sin eating. I think that was from.
That was our voodoo episode.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Good times.
Sorry, I forgot to take my earrings off, and I don't want them to be jangling in the mic. I'm gonna try to not hit my mic this entire episode. It's gonna be great. Let's see how far
it's
we
a
get.
game.
You guys.
Hey, here's an idea. Take a shot every time Katie hits.
Oh.
Every time Katie hits
Fuck.
the mic,
No, I cannot recommend that. You will die, maybe.
possibly for sure.
Pretty definitely.
Most definitely,
You will die.
You will.
So I am dying today.
See, do you guys remember how it used to be? Like every time, like in the old episodes, Katie would come on and she'd just be like,
Sick.
"I'm dying."
Forever, yeah.
Next week, Kenny, I'm dying.
Still dying. Yeah,
She's
no.
still dying, y'all.
No, I'm back at it. Back at it again with the death. No, I am like, my stomach is just like not happy with me, and she's really angry, and she just keeps growling at me, and it's really not good. It's kind of like in the book that we're reading for book club, how there's like this disembodied growl in House of Leaves. That's what my stomach is doing, actually. I think it may have been brought on by reading so much of House of Leaves at one time. I straight read that book for like 6 hours in a row.
I was gonna say that sounds, awfully familiar.
Right? Like, I think it has actually fucking poisoned me. I've never been poisoned by a book before, but I think that that's what's going on.
The like it's really just getting to you, and it's just.
Right.
that,
And
the
it's like
book
making me
itself.
ill. Because also the other thing is, like, I woke up this morning and I discovered, like, I just decided that my back was itchy. And so I have literally just been like raking my nails up and down my back all day. And like, I'm pretty sure it's a mental thing. Like, either that or I just have some
'cause,
horrible rash. But there's nothing there but my like jagged red nail marks.
Yeah, I looked at your back and it looked normal, other than the fact that you have,
Like,
clawed it.
Yeah.
It looked like something out of like Nightmare on Elm Street. Like Freddy has.
It looks like I got
attacked your
intimate
back.
with some kind of like bird or Wolverine or something.
With a bird.
Yeah, like it just looks clawed up,
Yeah,
something scratchy like that. So basically,
I saged the fuck out of her back though before the episode.
don't expect much from me today. I don't have much to give you.
I don't think that they expect much any other day, Katie.
That's true. Oh, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about as far as our book club book, so this episode is going to be released on Wednesday. So on Monday, 2 nights ago, we did a book club live stream on our Facebook. And we basically just hung out for like an hour and talked about the book, and like it was really cool, and people were like sounding off in the comments, and it was just really fun. So if that's something that you're interested in, we do that shit over in the Facebook group, and we're doing House of Leaves now. We're going to finish the second half of that, and then we're going to pick some other goodies. Some people have already proposed some good ones. I have a book on corpses that I want to read. So if you want to be part of things like that, then you should join our Facebook group. And you can find it on the platform www.facebook.com. And if you search the Haunted Heart Podcast, you will find a closed group. If you request to be a member, we will approve you.
Unless you're a murderer.
Yeah. Or a ghost.
But
we'll probably approve you.
We'll approve you if you're a ghost. Totally.
Ghost is conditional. You just can't be the ghost of a serial killer.
Ghost of John Wayne Gacy.
These are the rules. Come on. So up top, we have 2 new inductees into our Patreon family, which is very exciting.
Yay! Patreon is popping.
Yes, she's popping. She's popping. And we just released an hour-long ASMR video on Patreon.
Oh my God.
It was so much fun to make. I feel like we're really... I'm not sure that we were successful in being soothing and calming to put people to sleep, but we were at least entertaining.
We just made a bunch of fucking noise.
Yeah. We clearly have no idea what we're doing with that, but it was a lot of fun to make, and the people who are on the Patreon who have seen it have apparently had fun watching it, so that's all we really care about. So if you want to be part of our Patreon so that you can get cool shit like that and access to all that bonus material that is coming down the pike, especially with Halloween coming up.
Yes.
You can find us at patreon.com/thehauntedheart and check us out there. And there's just a bunch of like funny, wacky little videos.
Yeah.
2 people have gone to patreon.com/thehauntedheart and joined our family. And now we are going to do an invocation of goodness and well-being and health and love and light into their lives.
Yes. Allie A is our new inductee into our Stay Spooky squad. And
yay. Thank you, Allie.
Yay.
All the love.
And the next one is Kristen H, who is our first ever Trash Talent aficionado.
First ever. Go, girl.
And your candles will be lit at least through the episode, but always in our hearts.
Yes. Unfortunately, they can't cast any light because our hearts are as black as
the
tar.
inside of the House of Leaves.
Like 3 people are going to get that. I don't know. Probably other people have read. That book is like 10 years old now.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe. I don't know what year it came out. Anywho, now we are going to talk about... We're just moving right along. I'm feeling like we're just being really productive. Now we're going to talk about our little shop of horror for the week.
Yes. We are talking about The Gilded Fish.
The Gilded Fish.
I love that name. Absolutely. Yes. Love that name.
Yes.
So the shop is owned by our girl, Valerie. And actually, and speaking of Patreon, she actually has a Patreon that you can check out as well. But first, you can find her on Instagram at The Gilded Fish. And she has really, really beautiful, beautiful pieces. Jewelry, rings, especially rings. There's lots of rings.
She has this one ring that is like the classic symbol of the snake swallowing its tail. Mm-hmm. And I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Like, I am obsessed. Like, I want it really bad. I might be ordering it right now.
Yeah, but she does earrings as well, and it's like really cool shit. Yeah, I love that ring with the snake eating its tail.
Because the stuff that she does is it balances like being ornate and interesting and unique and artful with being tasteful and sort of minimalist, and, you know, like it's a good balance for me.
Oh yeah, this definitely looks like her whole Insta feed is like Katie's life. Like, it looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's very cool. So we love her. The Gilded Fish on Instagram. She has another page that's thegildedfish.store that has more specific like pictures of merchandise and stuff like that. But I think she's really most active on The Gilded Fish.
Yeah, and she's got a link on there, like I said, to her Patreon. She's from Latvia, so definitely check her out. Check out her Patreon, because she's got a lot of cool perks on there as well. And we highly recommend her work.
Yes, that's Valerie. And then our third little piece of business up top is the lovely podcast Go Postal. So you can find them on any major platform where you listen to podcasts. It's called the Go Postal Podcast. It is hosted by Carla and Michael, and they have new episodes that come out every Monday. And they basically talk about all kinds of stuff. Like they're very, they're kind of a little different from what we do. Like we're kind of solidly in the macabre, but they do like history and fun facts from all around the world. That's why it's called Go Postal, because it's like...
See, I thought it was going to be, like, initially when I first was listening to them, that it would go, like, I was going the opposite direction with that.
Yeah. I kind of, when I first heard the name of it, I did too, but then I was like, wow, I can't believe somebody's doing an entire podcast about shooting people up. But that's not what it is. It's Carla and Michael hanging out, talking about cool, fun, wacky, weird history facts. And I'm a little bit of a history nerd myself, so I like all that like weird offhand
I mean, you do
history.
have a degree in history.
I do. But I call myself a history fanatic. Do you see that? Do you see how I downplay my accomplishments?
Yeah.
Like ravishingly. Anyway, you should check out Go Postal Podcast. Again, new episodes every Monday. And they are cool people. They're very upbeat and very positive, and I enjoy that today of all days.
Yes.
As I am dying. As I lay dying, people.
Isn't that
It is.
a song?
No, it is
or a book?
Well, I think it's a band. Might be what you're remembering.
As a band,
but
yeah.
the band is hearkening back to a book, which is by William Faulkner, which is where this lady dies, older lady, and then her family has to like carry her back all the way across the country, and like it's back in the olden days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like a family voyaging with this dead corpse of their relative.
Okay.
It's pretty,
Nice.
yeah. I tried to like Faulkner, but I just can't. You know,
No.
it's just not. He's like, no,
No.
no, don't know. Well, I wanted to like him because he's like kind of goth, like he's kind of like early America goth, but it's just too much,
Too much.
too
for you.
heavy-handed, too heavy-handed.
All right.
So I think that is all of our housekeeping. We did our little shops of horror, or a little shop of horror. We did our pod light, and we talked to our new Patreon family members. They have officially been inducted.
Mm-hmm.
So now I think it might be time to dive in to our subject, or should I say our object of the day.
discussion.
Oh my God.
We failed.
It's fine. I think this podcast is like just a journal of our failure to podcast.
I'm neither going to confirm
Nor
nor deny that.
Turning failure into a brand.
Turning
Let's
failure
go.
into success. That is our brand. Yes.
Actually, that's kind of beautiful.
I
like that.
I'm telling you.
I'm going to stay in that for a while. I'm going to stew in it while you tell everybody what we're talking about today.
Yes. So we are talking objectophilia. This is something that's really strange. It's a little different than what we have normally talked about in the past. Like, it's not really horrific or
Yeah, like we don't have any murders for you.
Yeah, we're definitely
today.
getting a little psychological
bummer.
today.
Half the audience just fucking turns off this episode. No
like, what the
murder.
fuck?
What the hell?
No murder, no
I hate
magic.
Murder. No, we just
No
did
mayhem.
magic. We just
I'm out, bitches.
look. I just said no murder, magic and mayhem. Who knows?
That's like us.
I mean, I am feeling pretty shitty today, so I could potentially murder Kenny by the end of this episode. You don't know.
And I would murder her.
I would bring you back, though. I love you. So object sexuality, which is what we're going to talk about today, is a form of sexuality that is focused on specific inanimate objects. Individuals that have expressed this sort of preference may have really strong feelings of attraction, love, or commitment to certain items or structures that they seem fixated on. For some, sexual or even close emotional relationships with humans are completely incomprehensible. Others are able to have relationships with humans and also with objects. We see that some too. Some object sexual individuals also believe in animism, which is a theory, if you're not familiar with it, that every thing that exists, like even inanimate objects, have a particular spirit, even if they may not be sentient. And in some cases, in some branches of animism, they believe that they also are sentient. But based on that belief, these types of OS individuals can sense reciprocation based on the belief that objects have souls.
Yeah.
And some even think that their objects can communicate with them. I think this is something that neither one of us really have a whole lot of experience with. So it was interesting to kind of read about the different case studies. So we'll kind of talk about some of the different examples of OS and kind of like what is behind all of that, because it's kind of an interesting thing to look at. So one thing that I was interested to find when I started researching this is an example that was given from literature, actually came from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Notre Dame? Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Dame?
Notre Dame.
Dame. I think I never realized that my entire life I've said Notre Dame.
It's Notre Dame.
And I don't know why, because it's
Notre Dame.
That's
It's
odd.
also not her day. But
That was terrible. Anywho, we've all seen Hunchback of Notre Dame. I did it right. And we know Quasimodo and his bells, and we've seen the animated film where he falls in love with Esmeralda, and then that hot dude that's blonde and has the bowl cut comes along, who is not really that hot to begin with. Like,
Right.
let's be real. She could have done better. Esmeralda was hot as shit.
yeah, she was.
She was super hot. I was her when I was like 4. I insisted. I think I was Pocahontas for a year, and I would literally write Pocahontas on my school papers instead of my fucking name because I was that committed.
Woo.
You know, it's fine. I could have been insane, but instead I have this podcast and all of you.
Wait, is your name really Katie?
That's how important you are. Is it, or
I'm
is it
concerned
Pocahontas?
I'm concerned now. I'm concerned you're some random child that killed a girl named Katie and became her.
Maybe. Would it make a difference for your life? No.
No.
Next
Really?
week, we're going to open the show, and I'm going to it's going to be The Haunted Heart with Kenny and Pocahontas.
Oh,
Why is there's a T that keeps coming up now that's a little alarming for me at the end of Pocahontas? I think I've developed a strange lisp. Anyway, I'm just trying to get this fucking point across. It's really not that important, but Hunchback of Notre Dame, the original book version, which was written by Victor Hugo, who's the same guy who wrote Les Miserables. The book is way better than the play, and don't even talk to me about the film. Quasimodo, in that story, was much more interested in the bells than he was Esmeralda. There was still that, like, storyline, but one of the excerpts from that was actually used as an example of objectophilia. So the excerpt is, Quasimodo loved the bells, caressed them, talked to them, understood them. From the carillon in the steeple of the transept to the great bell over the doorway. I'm having a stroke. They all shared his love. Claude Froyot had made him the bell ringer of Notre Dame. And to give the great bell in marriage to Quasimodo was to give Juliet to Romeo.
Okay.
So we can see kind of in that passage, some of it is like romantic language, romantic with a capital R, because Victor Hugo was part of that movement. But some of it, if we take it literally, that is a perfect description of objectophilia, because he has an actual relationship with the bells. He talks to them. He is physical with them and caressing them.
Ugh.
He understands them. Yeah, if we take it literally, it gets a little weird.
Physical with the bells.
I mean, it says that he caresses them. I'm just saying. Some of that is just romantic with a capital R language being taken out of context. But it does offer, if you interpret it literally, it offers a really good sort of example of objectophilia.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? Salad fingers and the rusty spoons.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, salad fingers would be a really good other example. I didn't even think about him, but yeah, that's objectophilia.
Spoons.
I miss salad fingers. Those were the good days of the internet. When was that?
Really
Like
was.
07?
Something like that. Yeah, no, it's definitely like 2007.
It was like 0607.
People today probably
beautiful.
don't even know what salad fingers is.
I
That's
feel
what's
like
most disappointing.
I am confident in our listeners, and I feel like they know what he is.
I'm not talking about our listeners. I said most people.
Yeah, well, most people are lame.
True.
So
Unless you're
you're with
listening
us.
to us, and
In
then
which
you're
case
not lame.
Not lame. No,
We're
definitely.
all lame.
Yeah. I'm like, we're pretty lame. So, yes. So that was kind of something that I found in my research. And I have a couple different cases that I can kind of present.
So, yeah, it's all right. So this is just strange to me. All right. All right, folks.
I can
Let me just
kind
go
of
on
tell
record.
that it makes you a little uncomfortable.
It's just
like,
so
in
weird
researching
to
it.
me. I don't understand. I feel old, and I don't want to
Why do you feel
old.
old?
Because I don't know if this is like, I'm not trying to knock on anybody or not be open-minded.
Accepting. Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of the people that I have in my case studies are older people. That's not like the youth.
Yet.
I mean, I'm sure that there are people. I'm sure it's not an age thing.
Yeah. So you can actually. So there's an official. Website.
Oh.
Yeah. If you search objectophilia.org.
Now, if you are at work on your work computer, don't do that.
No, it's actually kind of a pretty safe for work
Really?
website.
Is it just photos of a chair?
Not even. It's you go onto it. It's Objective Sexuality International is the headline.
Okay.
And there's a picture of a red fence.
Okay.
And then it just tells you a little bit about where this whole thing sort of like a few of the pioneers that started this, or some of the most well-known people who are objects. How would you even say that? Object sexual?
Yeah, object sexual.
Yeah, object sexual.
It's really funny how uncomfortable you are with this particular topic. We talk about, I think last week we talked about a man murdering and cannibalizing his date from Grindr. And then this week you're just kind of this. I can tell that this kind of freaks you out a little bit.
Yes, it freaks me out.
Yeah.
All right,
It's just
so
a
here we
man
go.
who wants to
Here
make
we
love
go.
to a fence, you know?
Here we go. It's like that humanity thing. What humanity do these things have? I don't understand. They're not
Right.
What does that give back to you?
Here's the thing. I don't want to step on any toes or go too far. You know, we try to be respectful of everybody here on the Haunted Heart podcast. However, I feel like if you are feeling like you may be sexually attracted to a fence, I feel like maybe you lost your family. Something
God.
terrible happened to you. I feel like these are potentially very deeply scarred individuals who maybe just really struggled, and maybe
not.
they hang out
they're
with Wild Turkey
and
quite a bit.
Maybe they're not though. Maybe that's a part of being open-minded.
I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm not. I wouldn't go so far as to lump this in with the hollow moon theory and the flat Earth theory, because I feel like if you do believe in the hollow moon theory, and you are angry at the moon, as hollow moon theorists are, maybe we'll do an episode on that.
Wait, there are people that are angry at the moon?
Yes.
Can I be? Is there a
terrible has
hollow
happened.
sun group that I can join?
No, interestingly enough, it's only pointed at the moon, but there is a
What
group
has the
of
moon
people,
done to you?
Well, no, there's a group of people who don't believe that the moon is the moon. It's not our moon. Somebody took our moon and they replaced it with a fake moon, and the moon is a lie. And the cake is a lie. And they're just very angry individuals. But I feel like they are also deeply scarred individuals. I feel like a therapist should infiltrate the
Someone
movement.
has taken our moon.
Yes. Maybe we'll do an episode on that if you guys are interested in hearing the history of it. It's pretty fucked up.
So anyway, I am going to read an excerpt from the website. So what they say is, we love objects on a very significant level, and many of us in an intimate way. Mm-hmm. This feeling is innate. Objectum sexual love comes for most in a similar awakening as other sexualities at the start of puberty. This is often followed by an acute awareness that we do not relate to peers due to the source of projected feelings. Often, objectum sexual people feel outcast or pressured by mainstream sexuality with a helpless feeling that we cannot change what comes so naturally to us. This is what makes it difficult for me, because I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the person, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be that person that makes someone feel that way like I have felt from other people.
Yeah.
So they say, what is the natural feeling of object sexuality? Just as mainstream are attracted to certain types of people, physical, intellectual, objectum sexuals develop strong feelings towards objects possessing, in particular, certain geometry and or function. Often this attraction is regarded as an obsession to a degree that provokes criticism. So it's kind of like borderlining obsession a little bit is what they're mentioning here.
Yeah.
And truly, there is not much difference. Love is a feeling that preoccupies one's thoughts. This, in its own right, describes a degree of obsession where all focus is on the one desired. I believe that's a throwback to our first episode, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it is so unorthodox, our attraction and devotion to the object of our affection is what devotes our interest to a level that appears merely obsessive to others. So what they're trying to say is, to them, it's like a sexuality like any other, but to like us or other people, it just comes off as obsession.
Yeah. It actually is, it has been recognized in psychology today by one particular psychologist, Dr. Mark Griffiths. He feels that objectophilia should be accepted as a rare, though legitimate sexual orientation and not pathologized. That was hard. And not pathologized as a psychological condition that needs to be fixed or treated. And he also makes a comparison to homosexuality. For me, though, here's the thing. I feel like you cannot have love without consent. And if an object is inanimate, there is not really any consent. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but like I think
the
because
love is
it's
in the
not
giving of the consent and the mutuality of the thing, you know?
Well, I think that there's no reciprocated love.
Yes.
So, because I don't think consent matters when it's an inanimate object.
Well, no, but I think
But-
I'm not necessarily just talking about sexual consent, but I'm talking about consent in a wider context of like, I am consenting, like as your friend, as a fellow human being who is a friend to you, right? I consent to be in our relationship. I say, this is something that I want. This is something I agree with. And so we are friends. You do the same. And so we have a mutual agreement upon that. And if you are dealing with something that's inanimate, I struggle to find the relationship there because it's really just you having a fixation on this thing. Like I struggle with it.
All right, so
because of that.
All right, so they have a topic on their website, and again, I'm like sort of reading from their website here. So, how can one love an inanimate object? So,
great.
see
Okay.
if
All right.
what we have
All
to
right.
say.
Answer my question.
Indeed, the meaning of
Speaking for
love
the objective
comes into
house.
question. However, there is no single definition because this feeling has many levels and crosses every part of the spectrum. Virtually every one and everything can be loved. Love does not have any rules that requisite to whom or to what we express this multifaceted emotion, as long as it causes no violation or harm to the subjected. The spectrum of love is so vast, one may relate it to a bell curve. In the middle appears the majority of those whose relationships can be characterized by the similarities to whom and how they love. Objectum sexuality finds its place at one end as a minority which facilitates the criticism of our way of love and life, but nonetheless we still fall under the curve of the enigmatic emotion known as love?
I don't know that answered my question.
Well, funny, okay, because now they go on to say, okay, so the question isn't answered.
Okay. I was like, I don't really think that.
So the question isn't answered for those who strongly believe that love must be reciprocated to be in and have a relevant relationship. Naturally, if one sees objects as inanimate, then objectum sexual love and our relationships would undeniably be scrutinized.
Oh, okay.
Indeed, there are cases of love being one-sided, as with any orientation, but in general, we do feel love in return.
Okay. So it seems then that at least, and it may be, this website might not speak for all objectophiles, but it seems like they are saying that you must believe in animism to get the tenets of their sexual orientation. Like, you must believe that the object has a spirit and can love them back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It seems like they're making that a prerequisite. How is that? I used the word correctly.
Yeah, I guess.
I think
it's a little weird.
You kind of have to, which is difficult for me because I kind of do feel that. Like, I have flirted with the whole animism thing because I do kind of think that, like, the earth has this particular spirit and trees have a particular spirit and that some things have spirit. I see it in terms more of, like, energy, which we've talked about before. But so I guess, I don't know, like, it makes it difficult for me because I do almost buy into that pretense of animism, right? But I'm just not getting the reciprocation thing.
Yeah, it's hard for me because I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and I'm like, could I fall in love with that Halloween canister that I just bought at the Home Goods today?
I mean, you're working on it. You've gotten to like second base already, so
I might be. I'm like looking around like all of my decorations and Halloween shit, and I'm like,
you actually,
it's a fine line.
You just have like a harem of Halloween decoration loves.
It's a fine
surrounding
line
you,
but I'm like, that canister ain't gonna hold me in the middle of the night.
For real.
That canister, while beautiful and
that canister's not gonna stand me up on a date.
It's got curves and it's got a nice little look to it, but
that canister's not gonna pop me in the face and choke me a little bit. That's not gonna happen for me. That's not gonna work out.
Canister's not gonna smack me and call me daddy.
Exactly. It's just not gonna happen.
So yeah, that's a little bit from the, I guess, the official website.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more information on here because they go into like, because a lot of people consider, or they get into the subject of considering object sexuality as a fetish, which they say that it is not.
Oh, okay.
Because a fetishist must have their desired object present as a catalyst to achieve sexual gratification. The love for our object is not based on a habitual psychosexual response. It is the object that captivates us on many more levels besides sexual arousal. Fetishists do not see the object as animate as we do, and therefore do not commence to develop a loving relationship with the object.
Okay. So that, okay, all right. It's beginning to make more sense in that an objectophile must believe in according to this website, must believe in animism, right? Because the object must be animate in order to have a relationship.
Right.
Whereas if you do not believe in animism and you have a proclivity towards a particular object, then it's just fetish. Am I hearing the objectophiles shitting on the fetish community? Because, like, I mean, just fucking get in line. Like,
I just had a really...
We actually like it.
Literally. I just had a really intense desire to do a fetish-themed episode.
I don't know if I can do that. Well, I mean, we can try.
We'll put it in our notes. Assistant!
Still nobody.
One day. One day.
Okay, so I have a couple case studies that I wanted to look at.
Okay.
So, couple different cases, and these are pretty quick. This is one that a lot of people may have heard of, the Statue of Liberty and Amanda Whitaker. So, Amanda Whitaker is a 27-year-old shop assistant hailing from Leeds, England, and she fell in love with the Statue of Liberty. She spent her teenage years having a relationship with her drums, but apparently they, didn't see eye to eye, didn't see eye to drum, and she fell in love with the Statue of Liberty when she visited it. She said that she's attracted to various geometric shapes and that she has several monuments of the Statue of Liberty at her home and has visited the Statue of Liberty, who she calls Libby, 5 times after she fell in love with it in 2007.
So some part of me is thinking that there's a set of drums somewhere, just fucking
everybody hurts. It's just so
there's
sad.
that you cut that like they do in Vines with the, I don't know, it's like Kim Kardashian like whining.
Oh my God, yes. No, that's like one of my favorite things in old Vines is that one where it's like they ask you if you're fine and you just have to say that you're fine, but you're not really fine. I love it.
You're fine, but you're not really fine.
It happens to me at least once a day. It's happening to me right now as we do this podcast.
I'm feeling, why would you say that?
Every time I say something wrong, I just hear that playing in my head. We should like play it over ourselves.
There's like that. Is that Enya that sings that?
Yes, yeah.
I just imagine the drums off somewhere and just.
So fun fact, when I was like a pudgy 11-year-old for my piano recital one year, I fucking played Enya's Only Time on the piano. And when I tell you that I was into it, girl, I was into it, honey. I was on that music. My head was going. There's like a video of it somewhere. It's incredible. And I'm just like giving that piano everything I've got. I'm on that music. I'm feeling Enya. I have taken Enya inside me, and it is a beautiful thing. I still get a little touched by that song. So it's a beautiful song. So our next case is the case of Val Thoreau. Val Thoreau is a married mother of 2 who is in love with an oak tree since she discovered it in 2008. Now, I don't think her children are saplings, so,
I'm just trying to figure out the root cause of this.
That was good. Yeah. Again, I mean, I'm not saying that she's a very hurt individual who's really struggling with some things, but
I mean,
I'm just going to leave it there. I don't think that the oak tree.
Are we barking up the wrong
children.
tree here?
Well, you are just full of those. So Val is a retired nurse who is currently in her 60s, and she made a journey from Canada to England in order to visit that specific oak tree, whom she refers to as her partner.
Okay.
She's flown from Kamloops, British Columbia.
Kamloops?
Yeah, I don't know. Kamloops. Kamloops.
Where are you from? Kamloops.
If you listen to this podcast and you are from Kamloops, I want to fucking hear from you. We're going to be best friends. So you can replace Kenny. No. No.
Yeah, that's fine. Once a week. If you want to come in and step in, I'm great.
No one could ever, my darling. So she has flown from British Columbia, Val has, to the New Forest in Hampshire once a year since she fell in love with this oak tree. And when she's apart, she remains in touch with her tree by viewing it on Google Earth.
Okay, that's nice. I'm not as weirded out by the tree.
Yeah.
I can, because here's the thing, because there's a connection to life there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's there's an I can definitely feel that there's an energy there.
I mean,
and I'm not going to say I have hugged a tree and felt like,
this is where
something.
I just don't know where to stand because I do feel energy from like things like the trees, and I have a very good relationship with the trees, but I have never wanted to fuck a tree. Like, I don't want to fuck a tree. I don't want to kiss a tree. You know? And I just don't, I can't.
I've
it's
kissed
that
a tree.
leap. It's that leap that I've probably kissed a tree.
I've
That's
kissed
true.
a tree.
But I mean, not like, really, like.
Not like in that
fucking
movie,
getting it.
was it Superstar? Didn't she make
Yes.
out with a tree?
Yes.
She made out with a tree in that movie.
I don't want that.
No.
So that's where I just have a little bit of trouble.
So, all right. For me, it makes
Although
a little
the Google
more
Earth
sense.
thing is a little cute. Like, I have to say, I was kind of like, oh. What is
So for
happening?
me, like I said, there's that connection to life, earth, energy, whereas like something else, like a pen or a candle, like it's manufactured. It's not from the earth. So
Yeah,
there's
okay.
like
That makes
that's the
sense.
difference that I get. You know what I mean? That's why I can look at like someone who's like, "Oh, I'm in love with this tree," and be like,
Yeah, I think, I mean, I would be inclined, I feel like I want to agree with you, but I also feel like we're making like bullshit, like, what is the word? Like divisions. If you can be in love with a tree, then why can't you be in love with a pen? You know? I don't know.
"Yeah, I see it," but I'm just saying
I see it, but I'm gonna do it.
understand.
Yeah.
I
You're
can
more
relate
comfortable with the concept
and
of a tree.
empathetic with the idea of loving something and even getting that reciprocation back
Yeah.
from nature versus something else.
I mean, well, it's that concept almost borders on like druid culture, like,
Well,
and the history of druids.
yeah.
Are you going to talk to me about druids?
No, I'm not.
Oh, fuck. The way that you said that sounded like, well, I have this entire book report that I have prepared on druids.
On Druidism. Chapter 1.
I actually know some pretty cool modern day druids. Maybe we'll shout them out on the podcast one day. So this next guy, so Val has a very close relationship with her tree, right? But this next guy is a little bit more of a player with his objectophilia. So Edward Smith is in his 60s, and he refers to himself as a mechaphile, which is a term that is used to describe somebody who is sexually attracted to planes, automobiles, or trains.
Huh, baby, I can let you know right now it ain't big enough for him.
So, oh my God. So, Smith claims that over the past 5 decades, he's had more than 1,000 sexual partners. But the surprising reality, surprising for some of us, maybe, is that only one of those 1,000 was actually human. Again, the subtext is, somebody hurt you, baby. What you're feeling is hurt. So only one of the 1,000 was human. He claims that he's not only one to have such unusual sexual attraction, that he's not the only one who has such an unusual sexual attraction. And he says that there are more than 500 other men known to have relationships with cars. I don't really know how he keeps up with that. Maybe he has a Facebook group.
There's a group. There's a
Facebook
podcast
group for that. It's a thing, I'm sure.
That reminds me of the guy. Do you remember seeing that episode on My Strange Addiction where they showed the guy who was into his car?
No.
Yeah, there was an episode of My Strange Addiction where this guy was like, they played it as like being addicted to his car or like loving his car, but it's really exactly what we're talking about. And so this guy was it was really funny, and I don't mean to poke fun, but kind of do. He was sitting in his car and he was like just gently caressing the steering wheel, and he would give it like a light kiss, and he would lay under his car and like kiss the bumper. Like he was laying
he was masturbating
her.
under there too.
Yeah, no, he was
TLC
he was
couldn't show
jerking
you
off.
that,
Yeah,
but
no.
He was
having
definitely
a
just shooting
sexual
loads of cum.
Yeah,
on,
he
on
was
that car.
having a sexual relationship with his car, and he would just they'd show it. And there's like YouTube videos that we can post, but it's like he's kissing it and he's like, "I love you, baby."
Somebody hurt you though. Somebody hurt him so bad, and I just want to just bring him to my bosom and just comfort him and make it better. So you will be happy to know that our friend Edward Smith is now in a committed relationship with his VW Beetle, who is named Vanilla. Irony.
Vanilla.
Irony. Yes. So, and then the other little case that I wanted to bring up is Bill Rifka. Bill Rifka is a psychology, or was a psychology student who is in a relationship with his iBook laptop. iBook?
His iBook.
iBook sounds like a character's name in like fucking Star Trek. Like, I'm into it.
iBook.
What if that's like the new android for the new Star Trek series?
Okay.
And then we just delve right into that. You can't follow me there, though.
I've got the new iBook.
I got the new iBook. iBook like Reeboks, but they like have like thrusters on them and you can fucking fly and shit.
That'd be cool.
Right? All right. Write it down. We can't release this episode. Shouldn't release this episode.
So everybody home's like, why did you release this episode?
So Bill Rifka is in a relationship with his iBook laptop computer. He's 35 years old, and he confesses that he has often flirted with his sweet laptop on eBay and felt true desire for it. He said that he believes that his computer is male, and they are in a homosexual relationship.
Oh, okay.
So that's the story of Bill and his big gay computer.
Wasn't there, that his big gay computer.
Bill and the big gay computer, like a kid's book.
Yeah.
Only if you really want to fuck up your kids.
Yeah, so.
But probably none of those cases can compare to one of, if you know anything about objectophilia, you have probably heard of this case. Those cases cannot compare to the very famous case of...
Of who?
The Berlin Law Lady. Fucking
yeah, I know.
research
I led
for
you
this
into
episode,
that.
you
I know.
bitch.
I know. I led you into that one.
I was trying to lay it down all smooth. And be a
like
pro.
what?
I don't know.
Yeah, she married the. Yeah, so her. I can't. You
Give
say
it
her
your
name
best
better than
crack.
I.
No, give it your best shot. I just have confidence. I don't know what I'm fucking saying. I just say it with confidence.
God, I failed.
Asia
already.
O'Hara. No. Asia O'Hara.
Aya Rita Ekloof.
Okay.
Ekloof.
Berliner Mauer.
Berliner Mauer. Yeah.
Yes.
She. Berliner Mauer.
Berliner Mauer.
Yeah,
Asia
she
Rita Berliner
married
Mauer.
the Berlin Wall.
Yes. This is the case that everybody knows and everybody, like, it's so ridiculous and everybody, like, thinks it's so crazy. But her last name actually is Berlin Wall. Like, Berliner Mauer. That's what that means.
Yeah. Yeah, she married it in So in 1996, she started the first website dedicated to object sexuality in 4 language. More or less a personal account of her own life and sexuality, but also an informative site directed at the nature of OS. It was from these early hand-coded pages that objectum sexuality became known in the trenches of the internet. In 1999, she launched the first internet group with an extended invitation to anyone interested in discussing objectum sexual issues, which is, and that sort of leads into the website that I mentioned.
Yes.
People poured in, but it was unclear if they were actually OS or simply curious, and discussions never developed.
Or if they were hosting a horror, true crime, paranormal
possibly.
podcast and just needed some info.
So while her first
Popping in.
Yeah.
Don't mind us.
Don't mind me. Just here for the donuts. Me. So while this first attempt failed to bring about an open dialogue, she decided to close and reopen another in 2002 with focus directed at providing a more private environment for discussion. Membership required approval, and from this selective process came the first active and sincere members of the objectum sexuality community. And so she started that because Yeah, so this all stemmed from her sexuality, and on June 17th, 1979, she followed her heart and married the object of her true desire, the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, what I was reading...
What do you think happened, like, when that came crashing down?
Well, from what I was reading, like, she married the Berlin Wall because she liked things that were, like, long and slim that had horizontal lines.
She took a
But the
picture
Great Wall of
it,
China was reportedly too thick, which I can understand. It seems rather thick wall. It seems like a lot. You can be intimidated sometimes by a thick wall. Or the girth, if you will. But so she was in a relationship with the Berlin Wall for a long time. She married the Berlin Wall. But reportedly these days she's in a relationship with a garden fence, I heard.
Well, the interesting thing is that she was actually a model builder. That's what she did.
Oh, interesting.
So
okay.
You can look up pictures and you can see that, like, it's like 1968 and she's got like models that she's built of walls.
Interesting. Okay.
So, yeah, I would and she's got a whole wedding album of her and the Berlin Wall.
Are they still married now?
She's got a white dress. No, she's got a pantsuit on.
Okay. A modern woman.
She's got a white pantsuit on.
I'm with it.
By the Berlin Wall. Yeah, I just would want to know, like, my thing is, like, what'd you do? Like, did you go and have a conversation when they tore it down, or like...
The source that I read, which I don't know how reputable it is, because, research. The source that I read said that she never went to see the wall after it was torn down, but she does keep replica pieces of it in her home. So, I don't know if she considers herself, like, a widow now.
Right, that's what I'm wondering. Like, is she a
what
widow?
The status is.
Because, I mean, she never changed her last name, right?
Yeah. But I told you, I read on that website that rumor has it that she's flirting with the fence. So
is it a red fence?
Maybe it's that red fence on that website. Maybe. So, interestingly, she is actually not the only woman to marry the Berlin Wall.
Oh, what?
Yeah, she's not. Or she's not the only, well, I should say she's not the only woman to have a relationship with the Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall gets around, apparently. So there is a woman whose name is Erica Eiffel. And she is famously known for having married she's an American, and she's known for having married
Wait. Can you guess? Oh, damn it. Fuck. Katie.
Come on now.
I was going to let them guess what she...
I'm pretty sure they fucking know.
You've ruined everything.
So...
This podcast is over.
So, yeah, we're drawing the line at objectophilia. So, she married the Eiffel Tower in 2007. And she had a 20-year relationship with the Berlin Wall prior to that. And before that, even, she had an object relationship with Lance, who was her competition beau, as in, like, bow and arrow, as in, like, brave,
yeah.
right? And Lance, she said, helped her become a world-class archer.
Oh.
So.
Well, there you go.
Yes. So, she's kind of more of a, whereas the other lady, Mrs. Berlin Wall, is more of an older, like, she's old guard in the objectophilia community.
Yeah,
Erica Eiffel is kind of like the new, like, there was a documentary done about her in like 2012. Like, it's a thing apparently.
Yeah, the thing with her is that she was really enamored by its structure, or is enamored by its structure.
Yeah.
And apparently psychologists are still trying to figure it out.
Well, I think that goes for like OS in general. Like, I think it's still very much some psychologists will tell you that it is, they have more of a stance that it's something that's like I don't want to say like a condition, but they definitely do not view it as a valid form of sexuality. And then there are other psychologists like like the one that we talked about in Psychology Today, who do respect it as a valid form of sexual orientation. So I think, you know, it's very hotly debated as to whether this is something that should be, you know, respected as just as valid as
any other sexuality.
Right, any other sexual orientation or not, or if it's, you know.
Well, I have a game for us to play.
Okay.
We love games, right?
The answer is my vibrator. That's the answer.
That is the only answer.
No. What's
all right,
the
so
game?
I have a game.
Okay.
I'm calling it. It's our own. Let's say it's our dating game for the episode.
Okay.
And we're coming.
What is
we're
that
calling
game
it,
that? What is that game where you had like the 3 people to choose from, and they were behind like different doors, and you got to answer?
That's kind of
ask
what
them
this is
questions?
about.
Okay.
That's kind of what this is about. Except my game show, I'm calling it Object of Desire.
I'm into it. Okay, branding. Okay.
Object of
Brandon.
Desire. Caitlin Murray, come on down.
Okay. And I have like big hair, and I've like teased it to the gods, and I have blue eyeshadow on.
Teased
Very
it
important.
higher than the gods. Yes, so Object of Desire. This is a fun little thing that I just came up with on a whim. And
Ew. I hated that. Ooh. Never do that again.
that was from Family Guy.
We don't
You can
believe in
thank Stewie.
H's on this show. God, this episode really has everything.
It really does.
Family Guy references,
It's just all
meandering
over the place.
conversation about a sexual orientation maybe that makes us uncomfortable. It's just the height of
All right, so
Greatness.
let me get down to this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a description of what could be a person, but you have to, but it's actually an object.
Okay.
So I'm making it sound like it could be a person,
Okay.
but you have to guess what object it is.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
And then it ties in with an actual case.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So, this guy is emotional, lots of highs and lows, likes to take it slow first before speeding things up a bit, has a height preference.
Is it a roller coaster?
Yes! Ding, 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 ding.
I'm the best.
Amy Wolf Weber is a church organist in Pennsylvania and is married to an 80-foot magic carpet-themed ride called 1001 Knots.
Oh, no. It's a bad pun.
It is.
It's a bad pun.
Yes.
And an object.
This was after a courtship that consisted of 3,000 rides over the course of 10 years.
Wow.
There's a joke in there somewhere,
Yeah, there is.
but I'm not going to make it.
There is.
She even changed her surname to Weber after the manufacturer of the ride. She has been attracted to the fairground ride since the age of 13, explaining, quote, "I was instantly attracted to him sexually and mentally. I wasn't freaked out as it just felt so natural, but I didn't tell anyone about it because I knew it wasn't normal to have feelings for a fairground ride. She also sleeps with a picture of the ride on her ceiling and carries its spare nuts and bolts around with her."
You know, I have two thoughts here. I have probably been with men who I would describe as a fairground ride.
I was going to
Let's
say.
be real, girl. I kind of
I was going
understand
to say,
you.
that's probably why you got that one so quick.
I kind of get you. Second thought is, do you think that she comes every time she rides that roller coaster?
Possibly.
And if so, what if you were the person who got stuck beside her?
Ugh.
And you're just like halfway through
Or the
roller
person
coaster.
after her.
Right? You're just like halfway through the roller coaster and everybody's like, "Wah!" And she's like, "Ah!" ah." Like, come on now.
Yeah, so you might
Come
be
on,
asking how
ma'am.
she...
Calm yourself, Mary.
Calm down, Mary. You might be asking how she feels about other people riding her husband. Well, she claims that they share a physical and spiritual relationship, and she does not get jealous when others get involved.
Interesting. So they have like an open relationship.
It's an open relationship.
Okay. Yep. All right.
And he gets ridden 1,000 times a day. Mm-hmm. All right, so next one. Loves to cuddle.
Okay.
A little cold at first until he warms up to you. Great in bed.
I mean, I want to say a blanket, but I don't get the cold thing. Wait, read it to me again.
Loves to cuddle.
Okay.
A little cold at first until he warms up to you. Great in bed.
A pillow?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
No, I kind of get that one. Like, if we want to talk about I have some things, some information that I could give you, ladies, if you're interested in that type of thing.
That podcast.
I can get that.
Might also be another tier on the Patreon.
If you want to know.
So, South Korean Lee Jin, I can't pronounce this name. His first name's Lee, is married to his Daki Makura, a body pillow he purchased from Japan, which features an image of Fate Testarossa, a girl from the anime series Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha.
Yes, I've heard of this guy. I watched a video on this guy.
Yeah, they had been dating for 6 years prior to their marriage. Lee's friends said they go out to the park or the fun fair where it will go on all the rides with him. Then when he goes out to eat, he takes it with him and it gets its own seat and its own meal. He said that Lee was, quote, completely obsessed with his pillow. He even traveled to Japan to marry it, and the nuptials were officiated by a local priest. Lee even fit the pillow with a custom wedding dress.
Okay.
However, like many commitment-phobic dudes, he is still unsure about the marriage, saying, quote, my love for Fate is unchangeable, but I will take more time to think about our marriage.
Damn. You know what? Just like a motherfucker. I'm just saying.
All right. Next one.
Okay.
Lots of junk in the trunk can be very high maintenance.
Lots of junk. What is that child screaming outside? All right. Lots of junk in the trunk can be very high maintenance. A car?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's actually the guy that you talked about.
Oh, Edward
Smith and his Volkswagen Beetle named Vanilla.
But see, you didn't get that good story about how he had been with 999 other automobiles.
Oh, no, I have it listed, but you've already talked about it, so I'm not going to get into that.
I'm just saying.
But he does say that his most intense sexual experience was with a helicopter from the hit 1980s TV show Airwolf.
What the fuck? Do not put your dick near a helicopter. No. Don't do that. Don't listen. We do not advise putting your dick or your cooch anywhere near.
But the thing is,
helicopter.
what's weird about this is that he's been doing this since he was 15, and a lot of the cars like that he has slept with, it says have belonged to strangers or car showrooms.
Huh. Okay. All right.
So just leaving that there. All right. And
can you imagine you just like you're at the car showroom to like test out a shiny new Ferrari or whatever, and you just fucking get in it to like take a test drive, and there's just like some dude who's just totally shot a load all over the front seat. That is not something I'm prepared to deal with in a car dealership.
You know what though?
Like,
I'd ask for a discount.
Be like, I'll take it, but
listen,
I gotta wash it, so I need you to cut about $20 off the price so I can go get the deluxe wash.
Can you cut a G off of it? I mean, I'll take it.
That's worth a G.
I'm serious. All right, last one. Chiseled body, silent, and has an affinity for art.
Has an affinity for art, like a wall? Because you hang art on a wall.
No.
Do I need to be more specific? Okay. Chiseled body, silent, has an affinity for art. An easel?
No.
Fuck. Okay. I'm going to get it. Read it one more time.
Chiseled body, silent, and has an affinity for art.
Is it like a statue?
Yeah. It's a
okay,
statue.
but it is art.
Oh, but
okay.
You
all right.
You have to bear with me a little bit here, okay? Also, this is a really tough name to pronounce. Rainer Delaney. Rainer Delaney.
Rainer Delaney.
I don't think it's like quite as southern. Is yet another woman in a relationship with a statue like Our Lady who's into her Lady Liberty.
Oh, yes.
This time, a 3-foot depiction of the Greek god Adonis. She first bought the statue for €395 and named it Hans.
Aww.
Hans.
Aww.
Since the hit song Slow Hand by the Pointer Sisters was playing in the cab when she brought him home.
Okay.
Can
you imagine that fucking cab driver? That fucking cab driver was probably like, God damn it, they don't fucking pay me enough to deal with this weird shit. She's like feeling up the statue in the back seat.
I imagine
and, like,
the
fucking
modern day
licking on it. And he's just like, fuck this.
I imagine the modern day version of this would be to Slow Hands by...
That's what I thought you were about to say.
Slow Hands. Yeah.
I literally thought you were about to say that.
She now spends hours each day with it, reading and talking to Hans and keeping him close during dinner and watching television and kissing and caressing him while imagining them walking through meadows or by the seaside. However, she confesses she could never marry Hans as she couldn't possibly stay faithful.
Oh my God. So like, what's the deal? Like, are they having like an open relationship?
I think it's either an open relationship or she's a little possessive. I don't know.
Is Hans about... Oh, Han couldn't stay faithful to her?
No, she can't. She couldn't stay faithful to him. There's so many other statues out there.
Oh my God. I don't know about that.
You did great, Katie.
Right?
You did great. You've got a lot of experience with this, apparently.
I'm getting it. I'm going to show up to record next week, and I'm going to introduce you to my vase. My life partner, who is a vase.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever... If I could ever say that I would be into an object, it would probably be something like a pumpkin.
Right. Yeah.
I would say I would grab a pumpkin, a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah. Because it's down to earth, unpretentious, body positive. It's lit. You know? I mean, I could get that. I'm surprised that we didn't find somebody who was like in a relationship with a pumpkin.
Well, Katie, I have an announcement to make.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. You're in like a throuple.
Yeah.
You've brought a pumpkin into your marriage.
Katie, you did keep that pumpkin last year for a long time.
It didn't. I did not throw my pumpkin out until July. It broke my heart.
She didn't carve it, so it didn't rot. So,
but it was outside my apartment, and I would say hello to it every day.
Yeah.
And it was
so
beautiful.
there you go.
I was very sad to see him go.
Yeah, but she had to move on. Folks.
Didn't fuck it once. You know, just don't understand. Just don't understand.
Didn't ever think about it?
Nope. Didn't even think about. Didn't even actually.
You didn't think about sitting on
that
that stem.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Ooh. No.
Now, that would be awful.
Yeah.
That would rip your vagina to
guess
shreds.
If you use a condom, we're not going any further. We're not. That's it. That's the episode of Objectophilia.
All right, guys.
We did it. Thanks for hanging in there. If you're still with us, all 2 people who are still fucking listening, you're a champ. That's Objectophilia. That's what we have for you.
Yep. So, as always, you can follow us on all of our social medias except Twitter. Or am I getting that wrong?
You didn't fucked it up.
The Haunted Heart.
Twitter at The Haunted Heart. Instagram at The Haunted Heart Podcast. Facebook, just search The Haunted Heart Podcast and you can join our closed group. You can request to join. We'll approve you. And we are on Patreon, as we stated at the top of the episode, patreon.com/thehauntedheart. You can also find us online, www.thehauntedheart.com. And for some of you guys that may not know, we do have merch available on our website. We have a couple different shirts to choose from. There's a really cool bag that's actually really good quality.
Yes.
And
it's printed on both sides.
On both sides. Anyway, hop on there and check out some of our stuff.
More merch will be coming soon.
Soon. Secret ambiguity. Anywho, I think that's just about it. So we're going to wrap it up.
All right, guys. It's that time.
And until next time,
stay spooky.